Hola, amigos and amigas. Ayuda es aquí. Help is here, boys and girls. This is your band teacher, and I'm here to help you understand all these lessons I've been handing out, okay? So I'm gonna go very slow. I'm gonna speak in all English. Okay, maybe I can get somebody to translate this for me. But I'm going to go through all the notes, okay? And what I want you to do and learn. Number one, you always need to have a chart next to you, right? You should always have a chart. You need the note reading chart. Always need that. You need to have this chart memorized, okay? To do all the work, you need to memorize this chart. Very important. Right now we concentrate on reading pitches, right? So you need to know the name of the pitches and that they represent lines and spaces on the treble clef, right? Let's look at this. So you have 5 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each line, each línea has a nombre, right? Each line has a name, right? So this one is E, G, B, D, F. You have 5 espacios also, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each space or box has a name. Letter, D, F, A, C, E, okay? Middle C is right here. The bass clef, by the way, this is treble clef for the higher notes. Bass clef for the lower notes. Has different letters, all right, for lower notes. Let me turn this music down. For my lower notas, right? I use my bass clef. As I get to middle C, so my treble clef note. So you need to understand how this system works. The line notes on the bass clef is G, B, D, F, A, right? And then you have the space notes, F, A, C, E, G. So you need to commit to memory this chart. Number one chart to commit to memory, okay? After you memorize this chart, then you can start answering questions. Not until this chart is memorized. It should be very close to you. Maybe you can print it out. I have PDFs. I have websites, I have Quizlets for you to practice. This is a website we normally use in school to practice your notes, right? Most kids know the website. They go there, they practice, they get fluent, and then they don't have a problem with reading the notes, okay? So for instance, this little quiz that we had, what's the object of this? Just practice writing in the chart, right? I will write it in for you here. Just like you see there, E. Let's make a smaller imprint there. G, B, D, F, right? Oh, let me look at my chart to make sure that's right. Yes. Then you write the next notes in, which is D, F, A, C, E. Let's write that in. D, F, A, C, E. See, in the box, in the box, in the box, in the box, in the box. That note is middle. Most kids know that note. That's a middle C. Okay, let's write that in. That's a C. So just right there, knowing those, just the treble clef alone, that's half of the quiz. E, G, B, D, F, D, F, A, C, E, middle C. Now you go to the lower notes, what you could do, by understanding how it's structured, if you see a C here and you go to B, C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C, B, A, G, F. So it has a logical structure, okay? You can reverse all your notes going backwards or forwards using the alphabet. The musical alphabet has 7 letters. Let's write that out too. 7 letters of the musical alphabet is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And the next note would be A, the higher octave, repeating on and on and on and on and on. Okay, so the idea is that it has a structure and a logical system for you to understand how it works. But you need to commit to memory the structure in order for it to work for you. If you don't commit to memory, it will not work. Let's finish here and then go on to the next page. This is F, A, C, E, G, G, B, D, F, A. Okay? That's your chart. Okay, boys and girls, I think you kind of get a good understanding of how the treble and bass clef work. Let's continue. Now, when you're completing your assignments, you use the same chart to figure out the answers. Okay, for instance, treble clef. That's the number one thing you need to know before you answer, right? Is what clef are you on? So the first question is treble clef. From 1 to 5 are all treble clefs, right? So I need to know exactly what clef I'm on. So I'm looking at this note here. Happens to be, I'll blow it up for you there. Line 3. How do I know that? 1, 2, 3. That's a line note, right? It's different. This one is in espacio. That's in the space. That's a different note. Okay? So make sure you know the difference between the two. One is on a line, one is on the space. So this is 1, 2, 3. The answer, 1, 2, 3, is B. Okay? Number 2. Is that a line note or a space note? That's a line note because it's in the middle of the line. 1, 2. I'll go back to my treble clef chart. Line 2, that's a G. Very nice. Number 3. Is that a line or a space? That's a space note because it's in la caja, in the box. 1, 2, 3, 4. Espacio 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a C. Okay. Number 4. That note. What note is that? Is that a space note or a line note? Treble clef, space 1 here. Okay. That is a D. Number 5. That note, is that a line or a space? It has a big line through the middle, very special note. Right in the middle of both clefs. That's going to be a middle C. So you got B, G, C, D, C. Some kids have this committed to memory, so they can run through this really quick. You need to get to that point where it's like you can just run through it fast. And you can answer. Ooh, let's not move that. Let's see if we can grab the document there. That ain't cute. That ain't cute. Okay. So let's just erase that. Yes, now we go on to the bass clef, right? Because from 6 to 10 is all bass clef. Okay, so how do I know that? Because it shows you right there. That's a different clef. That's bass notes. It's your lower notes. These notes down there, they're very low notes. Bajo. Okay? Now that note, is that a line note or a space note? That note is línea 1. Line 1. How do I know that? I count from the bottom. 1, 2. So it's on 1. That has to be a G. That's a G. Okay. J. Number 7. Is that a note in a line note or a space note? Notice that number 7 is the same as this, but the difference is the clef. Okay, so the clef is different. So you got to make sure you pay attention to that. Let's erase that. That looks a little sloppy. Let's get back to work here. This is space note right here. Bass clef. That's going to be none other than an F. Okay. Continue on. Number 8. Is that a line or a space note? You look very carefully before you answer and count from the bottom. 1, 2, 3. So that's bass clef, line 3. I look at my handy chart. Line 3 is a D. Play a D. That's a D. Okay, number 9. Is that a space note of the bass clef or a line note? How do I know it's a space note? Because it's in la caja, in the box. Box 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Box 5 is a G. Okay. Number 10. Is that a line note or space note? Oh, medio línea, the middle of the line. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Line 5 is A. Oh, kind of sloppy looking A. Okay. And that, my friends, commences this lesson you had. Everything is correct. Perfect score. I'm going to give this a 100. Okay, let's move on. Well, I hope you understand. Now let's get to our understanding the piano portion. Let's go to the next page. Oh, actually, we're still on notation. So let's continue with this, okay? Now you understand a little better. I'll just query whether or not you understand it's a line or a space note. Is that a line? First of all, number 1, we're in treble clef. So all these answers from 1 to all of these are treble clef until we get to here, okay? So treble clef, that's a line note. I'll give a pause to let you answer. It's a G. That's a G. That's a G. Now we on to number 2. I will pause to let you answer. That's a C. Same note as this one. That's a G. Okay, this one is a space note, space 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's an E. That's a middle note, very special note right there. That's a C. Okay, that's a line note. What line number? Counting from the bottom. 1. Okay, that's line 1. That would be an E. And now we go on to a space or a line note. It's in the box, in la caja. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a C. Line note. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Line 5 is in F. So eventually you commit this to memory, okay, as you do it 10,000 times. Well, maybe 9,000. All right, look. So right here, is that a line or a space? That's in the space. That's going to be a D, space 1. You got 5 spaces here. Remember that. That is going to be line 1. That's an E. Sometimes, a lot of times, notes repeat themselves. Okay, so these two are the same, right? These two are the same. Okay, sometimes you can look for similarity. That C. The C is repeated again right here. This one is not on the chart. You got to kind of figure this one out. Okay, so number 1, you got E, G, B, D, F. So I'm going from line to space. After an F, you go to what note? F, G. That's a G. Okay, use some logic. let's continue with my Ayudar video. Okay, next one. The space notes are trickier. You got to really count. You count starting from here. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a C. That's that special middle note again. That's right here. Middle C. And then we going on to another space note. 1, 2, 3. Space 3 is A. This is another space note. I'll just tell you the answer. 1, 2, that's an F. Followed by line 2, which is a G. Now we're going to bass clef, okay, the lower notes. This is space 1, 2, 3, bass clef. I look over here in my chart. Bass clef space 3 is going to be F, A, that's a C. This is G, line 1. That is another C repeated, another repeated note. That's an A. The bottom one, I'm going to answer all of them, write them all in. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to figure it out. All right, I'm in. This is A, C, E, G, A, F. Ooh, in fact, boys and girls, that is incorrect, right? Because that's all. I'm giving you bass clef answers because I'm still thinking of bass clef. So now we are in treble clef. So that would be D here. This would be F, A, C, E, F, D, C, E, D, G, B, G. Voila! Correct. All right, that's done with that. Boys and girls, we now come to the piano. Okay, this is what you need to understand. If you know 12 notes of the piano, you know the whole piano. So first you have here, let's write on that. Let's pick a nice, decent color. You have 2 black keys and 3 black keys across the whole piano. 2 and 3. You go down, that's a C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, the white notes, right? If you go to the 3 black keys, starts with an F, G, A, B, C, and so on, continues the same thing over and over. Now, what does that mean, okay? You have sharp keys. That's what I mean, but in addition to these white notes, you need to know these black keys, okay? If I go from C and I go a half step up chromatically, that's a C sharp and a D flat, okay? They are the equivalent of each other. Because if I go back from D flat, that's the same note. If I go sharp from D, that's a D sharp and an E flat. E sharp would be F natural. F and F sharp.
I'll just come back.
All right, continue. We have F, E. E sharp would be F natural. F sharp, and G flat. G, G sharp, and A flat, right? Same note, A sharp, B flat. All right, you have to commit to memory. You have to memorize that, okay? Just like the last thing you had to memorize, the chart and this, to answer all the questions. You cannot do the homework, finish all of this work without memorizing this chart. Very important to study. How can you study easily? By going to Quizlet. I have this chart there. You can practice before you answer these questions. So you start to look at this. You start to realize, like, oh, this is not that difficult. You just got to locate the right note. So I'm looking at this. I see 2. Oh, I'll go down here. That's a C. That's not hard. I go to the 2 black keys right here. That's D sharp, E flat. Depending on the context, you use one or the other. Right now, memorize both. D sharp, E flat, just like that. Number 3, I'm looking at the black keys again. That's 2. Down to the right, that's going to be 2. Down to the right is an E. I go to number 4. Ooh, this is 3 black keys. 1, 2. 3 black keys. 1, 2. That is a G. I go to the 3 black keys again. 1, 2, 3. Sharp. 1, 2, 3. Sharp. A sharp, B flat. Then I go here. That is the 3 black keys again. 1, 2, 3. That's gonna be an A. I go to the 3 black keys again. So you notice a pattern. You keep breaking the piano up into 2 and 3. Okay, so that's gonna be the first black key, which is here. That's an F. And you go to 3 black keys again here. F, G, A, B. 3 again. F, G sharp. G sharp, A flat. And the last one is 2. 1, 2, 3. That's an E. As you play more and more, practice, it'll be like second nature. Then you know all 88 keys of the piano. And finally, boys and girls, we commence with our Ayudar video. Wash your hands. Study. Play some songs. Jam out. Make some hands-only videos. And on that note, I bid you adieu.